Of course, you being a Ferns, you got the weather from me because it was lashing rain this morning. I thought, I'm going to go down to talk to young John. We're going to be covered in rain and clouds and all the rest. But I do want to get a little bit of the, we'll go inside in a minute, I do want to get a little bit of the actual Coast Guard. There's the man himself. How are you? All right? And the beautiful Jack. How are you, Jack? I'm just down now because this is a big pivotal moment, not only for you, but for, kind of like for the Ferns family, because you have such a history, the whole family, of being part of the Irish Coast Guards here in Greystones. So in the next week or two now you'll be sort of, handing in your badge. Have you sort of, I don't know if it's sort of hit you yet, whether you feel, the kind of, that's a big part of your life that you're sort of putting a little full stop on and saying, okay, my time's up on this particular part of what I do. Is it been difficult to accept?
It's a decision that I didn't take lightly. It is a difficult decision, however, it's one I've made on the basis of the fact that I'm 36, just over 36 years in the Coast Guard, and nearly 7 years as the officer in charge, and I was the deputy officer in charge since 1992, along with my brother, who was the officer in charge, Niall, in 1992. And it's a decision I've made, and I'm happy to leave now at this stage in my life.
I'm thinking there must be some duck DNA or fish DNA in the Ferns family, because at one point you were saying there was 4 of you actually actively in the Irish Coast Guard. I know your father, Derek, he was a big part of it too. It seems to be a family kind of, I'm guessing once your dad was in it, and I don't know if anybody else in the family was in it at that time, it kind of became, well, this is what we do. We live here, we live by the sea. This is the kind of thing we do.
Yeah, well, absolutely. It's because of my father, both Niall and myself are in the Coast Guard. He brought us down here in April of 1980. I was 16 and Niall was 14 at the time.
Nice.
And my father had been in the Coast Guard since 1952, and he retired in 1992 on his passing.
Right.
So from 1952 till the present day, we've had some member of the Ferns family in the Irish Coast Guard in Greystones.
Oh, fantastic.
At one point I had 2 brothers and 1 sister in the unit with me.
Right. That's Niall and Isaac, and which of your sisters, I know which one was, which sister was?
My sister Joyce was in the Coast
lovely.
Guard.
Right, yes.
And the only one that never ventured in was my sister Anne.
The sensible one, yeah.
Maybe. She was working abroad, and she got married and so forth, and never ventured into the Coast Guard at that stage.
Now there is not only are you kind of moving on, but the actual building itself, which is always it's been this part of it. I know it was originally up in Blackline. 1821 was the first Coast Guards built. Then it was Kenmare Terrace in I think around the 1870s, down around the harbour itself, down by the beach house, pub and stuff like that. It was based there, but it's been here since 1871. I think was the move into the Garda station. Right. And now here, this lovely old building is actually going to be in its final year, really, as the Irish Coast Guards. We're going to be moving over to the new marina. So
that's what we're hoping.
Right,
is the case.
That's the hope. Right.
And we originally moved into the building here on the right-hand side.
Okay, the smaller one here.
Yes, is where we house the cart, which is now in the Dunleary Maritime Museum.
Brilliant.
And when Paddy Doyle, otherwise known as the Grazer, passed on, who was the former #1 man, as it was known then, became the area officer, who handed over to my father.
That's right.
And when Paddy passed on, the Coast Guard succeeded in obtaining this building to our left.
And what was this building's quite? It's an old building. So what was it? Was it just a storage room? Was it I don't know what it was.
Well, I know Paddy Doyle, the Grazer, was a cobbler.
Right,
and he used to do his work in here.
Right.
And as I said, when he passed on, we took charge of the building, and we were delighted to get it at that stage, because the Coast Guard had advanced and progressed, and we had more equipment, and we were running out of room at that stage. And thankfully we got the building, and we made it into an operations room, and we housed the boat in the original station.
Over here. And of course, everyone will be reminded just how important the Irish Coast Guards are with the story last Tuesday of Scott and his rescue on Cable Rock, and the idea that there was, within 8 minutes of the call, actively out at sea, and then within 13 minutes at the scene, which is just a wonderful kind of reflection on the efficiency and the kind of people, the volunteers that are involved in here, that they just know what they're doing, and they're ready to jump when help is needed.
Yes, well, within the unit here, we train approximately 70 times a year. So the training is ongoing all the time. So the lads and ladies are very used to practicing for this sort of event. And fortunately, on that particular call out, the response time was met.
Yeah.
And to date, since my brother Niall, when he took over as officer in charge in 1992, to date we've had 529 call-outs.
Wow.
Not all boat.
Yeah.
We're also a search team. We
Yeah.
do cliff rescue, and the boat came in. We became a cliff team in 1994.
Right.
And then we got the boat in 1998. So we've had a boat here since 1998. We're actually on our second boat, D-class inshore boat, rescue boat. And with the training that's done here, it means that that's how efficient we've become.
That's brilliant. And when you say you got a boat in 1998, I presume there was a boat available before that as well. Or was it just a particular type of boat? Or?
No, we'd no boat before.
Wow.
1998.
Isn't that incredible when you think of it? Like just living in a seaside town that would.
We were living in a seaside town, and the way the Coast Guard worked was the Coast Guard were building itself, and they were purchasing these boats, and they were putting them into strategic points around the coast.
Right.
And we eventually came in. We've no boat of any description or ally otherwise in this town, so they decided to put a boat into Greystones.
Wow.
While we have a flanking station north and south of us, Dunleary and Wicklow.
Right.
There's an RLI station there, but they put a boat in between.
Amazing, because we are the most important town on the eastern coast of Ireland. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Can we have a quick look inside, just because this will be the last year of this wonderful old building. I mean, it's small, obviously. Well, we hope. Yes. Well, it is obviously quite a tidy little operation. But we'll go to the back room. I'll let you lead the way, because you'd know. But
in here, Paul. Yeah. In the housing on the left, this is where all the volunteers keep their lockers.
Oh, right.
Okay, all their gears kept
any
inside in the lockers.
Any pictures? No, I thought it might be a saucy picture something there. No, there we go. They're proper people here now.
We keep our ATV, our all-terrain vehicle, in here. 500cc quad.
Now I know you're doing great work, but I'm sure the party goes like, "Holy moly, that's cool." I'm sure that's a beautiful piece of equipment.
They are an absolutely fantastic piece of equipment from getting from A to B cross country.
Yeah.
They've great use. Soon to be replaced by another what is classed as a safer vehicle, and what will allow us bring a vehicle which will allow us bring more volunteers to a site and more equipment to a site.
Well, I'm happy to take that off your hands now if you're throwing it out now, because it'd be handy just going down to the shops and stuff. You know, I know Max would love that. He'd love sitting on the back of that.
Yeah. On the boards here, Paul, what we have is this is all the courses, and it just tells every volunteer what stage they're at. This is the boat status, and down here is the cliff status and all the other courses which the Coast Guard volunteers are required to do. And it tells me by looking at the board straight away whether their course is in date or whether they're required to do a course.
Right.
So there's quite a lot of...
It must take quite a while then to get up to standard, so to speak. I mean, I'm sure over it's possibly forever that you can always be upgraded and get better and better at it. But
absolutely, and it takes time. And to be honest, when a volunteer joins the Coast Guard, there's 4 courses he must do within, or her must do within the first year.
Right.
And from there, then they can progress themselves, whether they want to be instructors on the cliff, whether they want to be coxswains on the boat. And it's purely up to them how far they want to go. But there is a minimum standard of requirement for both the boat, cliff and search, which we're assessed on every year by either an outside agency or by my brother Niall Ferns, who's a sector cousin, which is a coastal unit sector manager within the Coast Guard. And it's his job to assess the units on a yearly basis.
Given your knowledge and love of it, it'll probably be very difficult for you not to be involved, I'd say, initially, because you're sort of so deeply rooted in this knowledge and rooted in the routines here and the sense of you know what value this is to the town. I'd say it'll be a strange feeling. It'd be like breaking up and not seeing somebody for a while and having to get used to this is not part of your life now.
I think it will be very strange. Obviously, I don't know because I'm not there yet.
Right. Yeah.
But I think it will be very strange. But we're very much a team in Greystones, and I have great friends in the Greystones Coast Guard unit and Wicklow Coast Guard units.
Right.
And that said, it's time for me, I think, to move on.
Right.
And after 36 years service,
it's a great
I know there's a great man coming in to fill my shoes.
The Magic Dermot, yes.
The Magic Dermot Macaulay, and he would be a very good OIC in the unit here.
Now we should we'll just go into the last room here, because this will be as I say, it's quite a small operation. So you've got these 2 rooms, and again, I'd say this will be as familiar to you as the back of your hand, as they say, because you've got all, not only obviously there's equipment in here, and there's the crucial stuff that you need to run an Irish Coast Guard, but you've got all the memories, all the wonderful memories up here on the wall. Because we were just talking a little bit earlier, just some of the great shots of family and the Doyles and all the different people who have been part of this this wonderful you know, kind of well, you know, it is, I'd like to say it's you know, it's an official club, but it really feels like a family when you look at the photographs, that people have been connected on something that's important, but also I'd say the bonding, that sense of like you're together is huge.
Well, this is the operations room in the Greystones Coast Guard unit, and I suppose, for want of a better word, it was my sitting room every Tuesday night for the last number of years, because this is where I'd done my business every Tuesday, and we orchestrated and managed the team from here. And this is where we would also manage any call-outs that we had. We would always have someone on scene here. And yeah, it's a very fond room for me. I know myself and my brother built it many years ago when we took over the station. And it holds a lot of fond memories for me, yes, it certainly does.
Well, we should finish by saying that this is you know, voluntary, and it's the RNLI. You know, for people, they were down there last weekend, kind of raising funds. But it's such a great and crucial part of a town like this. I'll include, you know, the donations option. Just these sort of things it's great to sort of be part of.
Well, yeah, Paul, just to clarify that last bit. We actually come under the Department of Transport. We're government funded.
Okay.
So we actually do not fundraise, or we do not accept donations.
Okay, all right.
As we are run by the Department of Transport, and everything that you see here, for want of a better word, is paid for by the taxpayer.
Okay.
And it's great to be able to give the taxpayer in the town this service.
Yeah.
And that they know, should they get into trouble, that service is just up the road from them. And as I said, we are all volunteers, but we come under the Department of Transport.
Well, then we'll go one better. What's your favourite tipple? Because if people meet you out and about now, because this will be a kind of a farewell for a few weeks, I guess. People getting used to the idea that young John Ferns has moved on from 36 years. It's just fantastic. So I don't know if you've got a fondness for a particular pint or a particular short.
Well, a particular pint, I've been known to drink the black stuff.
There we go.
In the village.
There we go. So anybody we see you out and about, if I catch you in the pub now, pint of Guinness is coming your way, whether you like it or not. But well done, man. Fantastic like amount of time to be dedicated to it. You know, it's a great. I'm sure your father will be so inspired by 36 years, and so you know, so proud of you, and it's great that the family have just given so much to this town, because you know, even though I'm attractive and super fit, I can't swim, believe it or not. So I need people like you nearby. So well done.